All right, and we are here for high school football game day, and this is kind of the first of its kind, guys. I mean, we got Tom Ketchum here with PascoCountyFootball.com. We got the coach, Bill Browning. He's a man. He's been around the North Sun Coast his entire career. Springstead, Hernando, Sun Lake. Just had a field named after him, coach. That is an awesome just accolade you can add to your belt. And then I'm Andy Villamarzo. I might cover a little football here and there every little bit, traveling
Just
around the
just the
state.
state, Andy.
Just
Just the
just
state.
the state, just trying to cover a little bit. And
No, hey, not the state, the nation. The
yes,
nation.
oh my gosh! And then we got Mitchell High School out here. We got the cheerleaders, we got the band, we got the Stang Gang. I mean, these guys they really showed out, and there's a reason why they came out tonight. There's a district championship on the line here. The Class 6A District 9 championship between Mitchell and Wiregrass Ranch. Never happened before, guys. 9-0 has happened, non-district play, but district championship on the line, and the stakes are rising because there's also a number one spot in the region, Class 6A, Region 3. And Tom, I got to come to you. I mean, just magnitude-wise, because you keep all the historical facts on your website. I mean, you've seen a lot of games in the final week of the season. Have you really just anything match up to this?
No, I've been covering since 2013, and I haven't seen a game at this magnitude in mine. And going back, I said this was the game of the decade. I think it's the game of the century if you think about it in the 2000s, right? I mean, we've had our state champion with Pasco, and we talked about Land O'Lakes and Pasco back in '92, but not at this magnitude. I don't know if it would have the same magnitude if this was in week 6 when the game was originally, I think, was supposed to be scheduled. I think it was week 6 or week 8. Uh, but you got everything. You also got undefeated season. First one for Wiregrass potentially. Third one for Mitchell. You said the region. Who wins this game could be the region top seed in the region and home field advantage throughout the playoffs as well. So there's a lot at stake. Bragging rights, right? These two teams series wise is 3-3. No home teams ever won this game. May change tonight. Uh, Coach Smits and Coach Cantor, they're the only coaches to coach in this game.
Right.
In this series, they're the only two head coaches to coach in this game. Many of the assistants have been with them, so there's a lot at stake here, and a lot of it is just around that district championship in that region of the playoffs. They're obviously both going to be in the playoffs, but who's going to get that higher spot?
And I got to flip over to you, Coach. A game of this magnitude, if you're going into this undefeated, a district title's on the line, spot as the number one team in the region. What are you telling your guys just hours before the game?
Well, really, game prep wise, you're not trying to change a thing. I mean, it's still field's still 100 yards out there, and so you're trying to keep them calm. I mean, I'm sure they both got a little good pregame speech going and that stuff. You definitely want your quarterbacks calm. I think the first couple series for the quarterback's going to be key. Get those butterflies out, let them both settle down, and try to avoid a stupid mistake early on, whether it's somebody jumping off sides to kill a drive, or not getting the call in, 12 guys on the field. A lot of times, big game like this, that happens the first couple series because of the nerves.
Well, nerves are going to be high because you got these guys, Rockets behind us. They're going to be in the stands tonight. And this matchup, the home team has always won, right? I mean, you got to think of the home field advantage that Mitchell's going to have in this game. They're going to have their fans behind them, the Trinity community. Just how important is that for a football team when they feel that energy coming from the stands? Like, how does that feel as a coach and for your players?
No, it's always great to be at home. I mean, it's a more familiar atmosphere. Student bodies for both schools great. The Stain Gang is awesome. They got great support here at Mitchell High School, obviously. One thing I look at that kind of gets neglected a little bit. All right, now I call it this ride down 54. I mean, from one side of the county to the other, that is not a pleasant ride. Now, I'm sure Coach Cantor, I mean, you're thinking about, hey, we had a traffic accident. The railroad crossing at 5441 goes down and stays down for a while. All sorts of things. I know there was a Pasco County team last year that went up to Dunellen and was real late, and they laid an egg.
Well, and Tom, just looking at historical perspective, I mean, tied at 3. I mean, home team always wins. Just for you, what do you kind of look at and say this is going to be the key thing in a game that is so tight, but actually marginally wise isn't so tight.
No, marginally it's not. I mean, the series has not really been close series. The average margin of victory is 30 points. It's a tight series of 3-3. I think some of it, we talk a lot about it. I think some of it, because these teams are so closely matched, you got to throw it out the window.
Right.
I think all those things. Home field, as Coach mentioned in regards to it, how will Wiregrass travel? It's Thursday night game too. It's not a traditional Friday night game. It's Thursday night. How will their crowds show up? Which I would say they should. They either should be at a football game or studying. I think they'll pick which one they want to do. Right? Go to a football game on Thursday night. Um, so I think all those things kind of go out. I think these two teams, guys, we've had these two teams number 1 and 2 since the spring season. There's been nobody else. We voted unanimously that these are the two top teams in the county. I think it could come down to, as you're kind of saying, Coach, I mean, a fumble here or there, a penalty you didn't need at that time. And this game could be, I don't see it being a 30-point difference between either of these teams at all.
Well, we got to talk about some of the players that are going to be playing in this game. We got Caden Thomas, the quarterback for Mitchell. He's been playing well all season long. Coach, I mean, just watching the film and everything, I mean, what's your thoughts on Caden, just him as a dual threat quarterback? How has he looked this season?
Well, I tell you what, that's the key. The kid is a dual threat. He's a baller. There's no doubt about it. The kid's a competitor. Uh, he can ball out, and he's going to need to have a big football game tonight against a sound Wiregrass defense.
And Tom, running back Corey Sims, he's been playing phenomenal this season. Over 1,000 yards this campaign. Just what makes him kind of different from? I mean, I know he's going to be up against another good running back. We're going to talk about him from Wiregrass Ranch, but I mean, Sims he's been, let's just say it. I mean, one of the top backs not only in the county but in the area.
Yeah, I mean, last year, Dandy, we were talking about how young this team was, right? I think this year there's about experience. I mean, Corey Sims now comes in really with 2 years experience. I mean, we're at the end of the season there. So that comes with a lot of experience there. Again, he's not having to carry the whole load. I mean, this is typical Mitchell team. They spread that ball around, whether they can pass or they can run. But he's already at 1,000 yards. He's got at least 2 more games to go with it. So I think it's that experience, also size. The kid's much bigger as he was last year as well. So I think that experience from being young. We're not talking about Mitchell being young anymore. It's about being experienced.
And then lastly for Mitchell, Bryce Backus. I mean, he's a dynamo. I mean, he plays offense, he plays defense. I'm sure Coach has him on special teams. He's going to be everywhere, all over the field. Coach, I mean, just seeing Backus, the numbers he's put up this season, what impresses you about him?
I mean, got 32 catches, 72 yards per game. That's awesome, high school level. And I tell you what, I look at these two teams, one stat that kind of stands out, Mitchell's only punted the ball 5 times all season. Who's their punter? Backus. 5'9" punter. That worries me a little bit. I'm sure he's an athlete. I mean, but their punt team's only been on the field 5 times. To me, if Mitchell has to punt a few more times than they're accustomed to, that could weigh big because they don't have a lot of game experience on that punt team.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Wiregrass Ranch. All right, we'll talk about the Bulls a little bit and just what they're about. Tom, let's talk about just what they bring to the table. We got to talk about some of their top players. Dylan Rose Bailey. I mean, how does he look to you?
Well, he's a quarterback that's known for already over 1,000 yards. He can also run the ball, so he gives them 2 different dimensions of what they can do with their quarterback, similar to Mitchell. I mean, these offenses and defenses are very similar in it, but Dylan brings that as well to it. I think he protects the ball really well, and he can take off when he needs to and run the ball as well. So I think they bring that to him as well. One thing added to it, and I think we're going to get into it, but just their run game this year with Wiregrass has kind of historically been a little bit of a struggle for them around the run game, and this year I think they've put it together with 2 good running backs and a quarterback.
Well, they do have a really good running back. I mean, Nathan McNeil, he's an Iowa commitment. He just committed recently. Coach has seen him on film. He's played against some good competition. Obviously, this Mitchell defense has seen a lot of good competition. What have you seen out of him?
McNeil, he is well deserved. I can see why there's D1 schools after him. he can run the football and he catches well out of the backfield, which is a huge plus also.
And then Bryce Randolph, Liberty commitment. I mean, he's somebody that's been. Last year, I got to see him a little bit, and he played tremendously. Just he's taken over as the top receiver for Wiregrass Ranch. Really like what I've seen out of him. And then, I mean, Tom, just really looking at Randolph being the number one guy this season, taking over for Isaiah Riggins from last year. Just, I mean, how important has he been to this Bulls team?
Well, he's been important on both sides of the ball, Andy. This is a kid that plays both sides, similar like a Bryce Backus would on the other side of the team. He has 4 interceptions as well as over 500 yards receiving. So again, that defense of Wiregrass averaging less than 10 points a game. Bryce Randolph is a big part of that in that secondary. So he's dangerous on both sides of the ball. And you said he's a Liberty commit, so he's an athlete.
Absolutely, and real quick, and we're gonna make a real quick switch up here. We're gonna bring in Coach real quick, and he's gonna step in for me real quick, and I'm gonna let you guys ask him a couple questions.
How we doing, Andy?
How you doing, Coach?
How you doing, guys?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, Coach, I kind of touched on it a few minutes ago. Last year, we were talking about the team being a very young team. This year, we haven't said anything about being a young team. We talked about this team being experienced and bringing a lot of productivity to it. How does it feel when you look and you see a team out there that these are a team of juniors that are, and you have seniors out there as well, but I get these kids another year. I got to play in one of the biggest games of the season for you, but I also get them another year.
Yeah, it's pretty cool this year to be kind of young and experienced at the same time. You know, with as many sophomores as we had last year, you've got guys that they're kind of in that sweet spot. You know, they've got that experience. They've played in big games before, but we get them back next year, and they've got that they still got that hunger. You know, which I think sometimes as juniors you still have. Every once in a while, you have the senior class can sometimes lose a little bit of an edge if there's too many seniors. So I think it's a really good mix of both on this team right now. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, last year we were talking about being young and wait for another year or two, but you guys are here in a 9-0 undefeated. Could be your third undefeated season as well. The last 4 weeks, 2 of them have been because of the hurricane. You had one of your bye weeks. You played Anclote last week, and you played Sun Lake the week before. And in those games, you guys have rested some of your starters, I'm assuming, late in the game. How do you prepare for a game when you had to go through that? And then where Wiregrass is really, I mean, the last 4 games for them, they've been some really competitive games for them, where you guys have kind of had the 2 weeks off and then games where your starters weren't all playing.
Yeah, it has definitely been a challenge. This year in general has just been a challenge. I mean, it hasn't just been the 2 hurricanes. We had our River Ridge game. We got all the way to River Ridge, and a big storm came through, and we ended up having to go back on Saturday to play. So I think we figured it out the other day that we went like 32 days or something like that in between playing on Friday nights.
Right.
Because they were games that were canceled, they were games that were moved. We played on a Saturday, we played on a Monday. So this year has been all about just trying to, I know it's cliche, but kind of control what you can control. You can't really. You obviously can't control the weather, and we've got to be able to get up for games when we've got a football game, and the last 2 weeks, the games have been, lopsided, but our kids have gotten pretty good work in those weeks, and our practices have been really competitive, and we've done our best to kind of keep that edge, and that's the least of my concerns right now is how they're going to come out and play after the type of games we've had the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I think that says something about both coaching staffs. I mean, both you guys have really experienced coaches that have been with you a long time for both sides of the ball there tonight. So I think that comes down to getting your kids prepared as well.
Yeah, I think that's a combination of coaching and that experience that you talked about. Our coaching staff's been around for a while. We know how to get kids ready. We feel like we know how to structure practice to have that kind of fine balance of competitiveness, but also not, beating the crap out of everybody, in week 9, 10, 11 of the season, but it's also the kids being able to focus, no matter who they're playing on Friday night, no matter what the practice schedule is, and like I said, that goes back to what you talked about with the experience that we bring back. They're able to do that.
Yeah, you know why these are two of the top teams in the county right there.
Yeah, we've practiced really well, and I bet you if you were over at Wiregrass the last couple weeks, I bet you they would tell you the same thing, that they practice really well. You don't get to be where these two teams are at without putting in the work Monday through Thursday.
And being the complete program,
Right.
coaching, student sections,
Right.
everyone.
Right.
So, Coach, I'll pass it to you for.
Yeah, first off, congratulations on a great season up
Thank
to
you,
this
Coach.
point. And
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you, your dad was a longtime coach, started the River Ridge program, started this Mitchell program that you're at now. Excellent coach. Starting two programs. His coaching record he's a much better coach than what his coaching record is, in my opinion, simply because he started two schools. How instrumental was he in your development, following his footsteps?
Oh, I mean, he was pretty much the whole thing. If you look at how we still approach things at Mitchell High School, the X's and O's are definitely different. But as far as how our program is structured, how we try to treat kids, how I try to treat my assistants, all of that stuff. I mean, it might as well be Scott Schmitz and not Andy Schmitz. He taught me how to run a program. He taught me just how to run a program the right way to where you're trying to build kids. And as much as we want to talk about being undefeated and playoffs and all that type of stuff, like he's been able to kind of even now he's able to kind of keep me grounded as far as it's still about what are you doing for kids, and are they becoming better men, and that's the stuff that I feel like we need to be focused even more on.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I got a lot of respect for both you guys. You guys do it
thank you.
the right way, in
Thank
my
you.
opinion. I'm impressed with your offensive line. I mean, and I like the scheme. You gap down.
Walk down, kick out, Coach. Come on, that's your game.
Pulling.
That's your game.
I know it is. Yeah. First off, who's your line coach? Because I'm not sure. He must do an awesome job for you.
That's Dan Gigantelli,
Okay.
and then Don Green also helps with that. And they do a
Because
fantastic.
you guys aren't the biggest up front, but boy, you do get after it, and that's a great scheme for the size of your line.
Yeah, we're a little
Little move.
undersized, especially the inside three is a little undersized, but they play so hard, and we try to take advantage of the fact that they're pretty athletic,
Yeah.
and we move them, and Coach Jig and those guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
And they've gotten better every week. We graduated all five starters last year on the offensive line. So, if you would have come to our practices in the spring, the offensive line didn't, had some struggles early on, but they have gotten better every single week.
Yeah. And one last question for you, quick, and if you don't want to answer, just tell me. You guys have only punted 5 times.
Yeah.
You have to punt a few times tonight. I know you're going to tell me you're not going to, but if you have to punt a few times, any concerns at all with the lack of game experience on that team?
I don't really understand why people willingly give the ball to the other team.
Okay.
Like, when you line up the punt, you're just giving them the ball. But no, seriously, I mean, Coach McFarland runs our special teams, and he is fanatical about punt because it is one of those things, like, it. I mean, you can lose a game just punting the football, getting one block, getting one returned, so we might not have a lot of game experience, but that is not something that has gone, not worked on in practice.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Coach.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Season.
And
Good
thank you
luck
for
tonight.
doing this. This is a great thing you guys are doing.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you.
for
Good
being here.
luck.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. We got game picks. This is
here we go.
every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
So we're going to get ready to pick who's winning what games here tonight. I got to pull up the games because I don't know them right off the top of my head. All right, we got Freedom and
another one. We got a winless team, Cypress Creek. Wesley Chapel's 4-5. And it's kind of a rivalry. Cypress Creek, you said it, Andy. They kind of had a spark sometimes during this. Or what was the word you used? I think it was a spark or
They
something
were
you used.
close. They
They
were
were
like,
close at
so,
times. I'm going to go with Wesley Chapel, but you never know. You never
Never
know. You
know.
never know
Not
that
so
Cypress
fast.
Creek, not so fast. You
Mm-mm.
never know Cypress Creek again. But I did hear that their quarterback's out with an injury. Trip Jackson, I did hear that,
Oh.
and I think they're out with a few more injuries, so that may hurt him tonight in regards to that. But I got Wesley Chapel.
I will say this about Cypress Creek. 'Cause I was witness it firsthand. Shane Patel had the catch of the year
Oh, I
this
saw
fall.
that.
I mean, a one-handed,
Yeah.
backhanded in the corner of the end zone. It was an awesome catch. But Wesley Chapel have too much. Wesley Chapel's going to finish a great turnaround year, 5-5, and go into the offseason on a high note.
Got to go Wesley Chapel. I mean, Bruce Patterson, great job. I mean, first year coach. Got to like what Landon Holly has done at quarterback. And yeah, I mean, I say Boyette Bowl goes to the Wildcats. All right, we got Countryside and golf. Golf has been, to me, like one of the weirder teams this season. I mean, I was high on them after they played. They played Mitchell after they played Mitchell, but they haven't really been themselves this season. Injuries have been a problem for the Buccaneers, and I mean, I'm going with the Bucks, Coach, or Tom. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm looking
I
for
mean,
it.
I'm going with golf as well. Countryside's 0-10. I mean, it's hard to hear when you say Countryside being 0-10. I just go back over the years, and that's been a real, kind of a program at times in Pinellas County that you heard Countryside. I mean, you're going to play some football. This hasn't been that way this year. I think golf gets their fourth win of the season, but just not enough to going to get them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, golf seniors, Muniz, Holinsky, they've had great careers at golf. They're gonna finish out, that senior bunch gonna finish out strong, and golf's gonna get this one tonight.
University Christian ZCA. ZCA's been a team the last few games just really it's been tough. I mean, we'll just put it at that. The Warriors really playing some tough opponents, Tom, and then they it's no different against these guys. Who do you got?
I got University Christian. CCA's lost, I think they're eight straight games, but they have. You look at their strength of schedule, they're playing people like Pahokee and Williston and Hawthorne. Last week they lost to Zarephath Academy up in Jacksonville. This University Christian team is from Jacksonville as well, but I think they're a tad better than Zarephath, so I think they could be in for the same kind of week they had last week. I'm going University Christian.
Yeah, University Christian, 1A school out of Jacksonville, play some good football. Both squads have had tough schedules, but I think Zephyr or Jacksonville Christian in this one,
All
I
right.
think, Coach, too, I think University Christian has won a state title. I think they've been in the
or
state
University
title.
Christian. Yes, they
Believe
have.
I
so.
think
Yeah,
they've
they've had
played.
some excellent teams in the
Yeah, they
past.
have,
Yeah, small
absolutely.
private school.
All right. Well, we're second to last. We're almost to the final game. We got the Butter Bowl. Got Sun Lake and Land Lakes. Coach's old team, Sun Lake. I feel like we might know maybe where it'll go, but how do you feel about this version of the Butter Bowl?
Well, this is a game different than the Mitchell Wiregrass series. This game, as Coach knows, has been much closer at times. Whether the one team's down, one team's up, they're coming at you. I mean, this is the game of the week. If this wasn't the game this week, we'd probably be over at the Butter Bowl right now doing this as well. But I think Land O'Lakes, who they've played, the strength of schedule that they've put in. I think the series coach is it 11-8. You won 8 games in a row of it, 8 straight games there. Land O'Lakes has won the last 3 games, but they have been tight matchups. I just think the Gators are boy, they're going to continue to play the finish the last whistle. They're not in the playoff picture. This is Auburn, Alabama, right? If you look at it,
Not so
No, not so fast.
fast.
Oh, wait a minute. Not so fast.
No, I got to go with Sun Lake in this one. Land Lake's coaching staff's done a phenomenal job this year. Okay, but Coach Jay Fulmer took over the offensive play calling thing last week, and again, Cypress Creek has had some issues defensively. They lined up in power eye. Braylon Smith, 260-pound fullback, was just blasting kids on defense. And they got Grayson Gilmore at the power back. He's 225. Merriman had a heyday. So if Sun Lake can run the ball and keep Land O'Lakes offense off the field some, I look for Sun Lake in a close one.
And it could be.
Not so fast, Coach. Land O'Lakes. They've been playing too good. There's no way. Coach Fulmer, my full coach, but I just see Coach Goodspeed in them. They're going to find a way to win their Butter Bowl. I mean, they just been playing so well lately. I know we knew. Coach bleeds the teal and the black and gold.
Can we agree that maybe, or see that if Morris rushes for more yards or Merriman rushes for more yards, who wins the game?
Well,
I mean, you got T.J. Moore on the other side of the field. He's leading the county right now. He's leading the county. A kid that we weren't talking about at the beginning of the year, at least at the running back.
Yeah, pretty much so. But I mean, Land O'Lakes definitely also has a throwing game. They're two-dimensional. Sun Lake, they're going to have to pound the ball and keep the ball out of Land O'Lakes' hands. Can that be done? Yes. Will it be done? Still, stay tuned.
Yeah.
all right. Well, we got the big game. We got Mitchell, Wiregrass Ranch. Who are we going with? This game is why we're here. I've been all around the state. I've been to the Panhandle. I've been down to South Florida, Orlando. But the end of the season, I feel like it's poetic justice. It takes me right back to Pasco County, of all places, and we got the best game in the state tonight. And then tomorrow evening, we're going to have the FHSA football bracket reveal, 6 o'clock. And, Tom, I mean, this game, we talked about the players. We talked about the coaches. I mean, is there anything else left to kind of dissect and really look into before this game takes place at 7:30?
I think it's going to be on the field. I think, we can kind of throw out all the facts of the series and so forth, the 30 points, the home team. Doesn't mean the home team can't win. I'm just saying you can throw all those things that we kind of looked at. I think the kids have got to play the game. You look at both of these two teams; they're very similar. They can do things on offense. You got Mitchell, who's averaging the most points per game. Wiregrass is averaging the least amount of allowed points per game. I mean, you got a kind of a top defense and top offense kind of going to collide here tonight. Here's where it is. As far as I know, you're going to get with our picks here of who we want to go with and so forth. Boy, someone taught me this year that there's no coin tosses in football.
No coin toss.
On this one, I wish there was a coin toss.
there's no coin toss.
There's none.
Coin toss in football this year, and we haven't. I think early on we did, but once you said that, I don't know, week 3, whatever it was, Coach. Look, we've had Wiregrass the number 1 team since really last year, at the end of last year. Since the spring, we've had Wiregrass number 1 and Mitchell number 2, and we haven't swayed from those two teams at all. Here's what I want to see before I kind of give it is I have 2 minutes left to go in the game. I want both teams to have that chance to win. That's the type of game that we're putting all the attention to in regards to it. That's what is kind of a fan. I'm going to turn into a fan tonight and I want a whistle-to-whistle football game. But if I got to pick somebody, I'm going to have to go with the number 1 team that we've had all year and say, Mitchell, this is not, that this is going to be overwhelming Wiregrass, but I'm going to pick Wiregrass because we've had them a number 1 time.
Oh, he's going with Wiregrass. If I got to... Hey, give me the Mitchell. I'm going Mitchell. I'd say Mitchell's going to win. I'd say we got the 2 heads here, but I think Mitchell's going to win. The home team has always won in this series. It's 3-3. Each team has won 3 games. So, and then you got these guys right behind us. They are going to be going crazy. So, I'd say the Mustangs. They're going to win. All right. Coach, you got 2 heads you got to pick from here.
No passes, I tell you.
There's no passes here.
I've gone back and forth all week on this. Everything, really, if you go back, everything's pretty much even. They offset each other.
Yep.
I think it's going to be I think that both secondary's got to tackle well tonight. You can't give up the long runs. So whatever the better tackle in secondary, that's going to be key for those guys out there playing. Uh, One thing stands out though out of everything. Everything else is even Steven. One thing stands out. One team has being Tampa Catholic. They're ranked 166 in the state, which is great. You're talking every high school team in the state. And River Ridge 172. Look at the other side. Wiregrass is beating Clearwater, ranked 76th. South Sumter ranked 122nd. Springstead 123rd. Zephyr Hill is 130, and River Ridge 172. So based on who's beaten who and the toughness of the schedule, Mitchell has the better stats, but I'm going with the Wiregrass
Oh,
Bulls.
oh man! Oh no! Oh no! Man, pick the Bulls in front of these guys.
front of 'em.
He's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. Well, I mean, closing remarks from us. I mean, this has been a great time. We got to thank Mitchell High School, their administration, just for having us, and then the fans here. We're gonna see them tonight. We're gonna see them tonight. So these guys, no matter what, I mean, they're gonna create some noise and they're gonna go crazy. We're looking forward to a great game here, and we wanna go ahead and thank from Gulf Coast Sports Network. Thank you from Will Wilkie and his guys. They put on a great production. They're doing Gaither at Springstead tonight, a district championship game as well. Got a great one here. There's all kinds of great action taking place. So for Andy Villamarzo, Tom Ketchum, the coach, he might need some bodyguards because he went ahead and picked the Bulls. Hey, we're gonna have a good one tonight, guys. Signing out from Mitchell High School.